Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending another session of our SMB training. Okay, but I want to let you know that today is no ordinary session, okay? So the fact that you're here, you are in the scope of one of our latest invention, okay, that's totally going to change the way you look at sleep. Okay, just the other day, we had a product brief with some of our key leaders, and it was the first time I had so many questions. All right, you can feel the excitement from the ground that everybody's anticipating when can we bring this in, right? We need this, you know. And it's true enough, okay? There is a good reason why there's so much excitement and anticipation over this product. Okay, and once you get your hands to try this, I can vouch for you, okay? I've never been more excited to sleep. All right, okay. So why is sleep so important? I don't think I have to go into a lot of details or to convince you that it is important, because I'm sure you know. And sleep is one of those things that you don't really have to do a lot of explanation. People just get it. All right, because one day of poor sleep, you will feel its effect immediately. All right, you're irritable. You are just not so nice to get along with. You know, when someone cuts you in traffic, you're more likely to be really angry at them. And when you have a night of good sleep, man, when you wake up, you feel really refreshed, right? Suddenly, the day is beautiful. You wake up, wow, with a different perspective. And suddenly, right, you feel that, wow, you can see the good in others one. Some people, even though they annoy you that day, suddenly you have extra patience, extra understanding, and, suddenly you have a very good mood, right? So sleep itself, okay, we can go at length about this, but I'm not going to. But it's one of the most important indicators of almost every aspect of life. All right, when it comes to emotional health, mental health, relational, making decisions, or CEO podcast talk about getting enough sleep, right? If you're a high achiever, and the list goes on. All right, so today, of course, our main focus is to not talk about that, but we're going to zoom in to get really focused onto how this close the loop as a metabolic health company. That's the most important question that we're going to be addressing today. All right, so without further ado, let's go right into it. Now, it's time to redefine the way you look at sleep. So when you talk about poor sleep equals to bad health, what does that really mean? It's very generic, right? Of course, emotionally, we can tell you a few things. But how do we measure that? If we see the exact correlation, and is there any numbers or any figures that can give us a tangible feeling, okay, poor sleep is bad for metabolic health, right? So we need to look at some numbers. So the easiest way for me to convince you is to look at how 1 hour of sleep deprivation, if you have 1 hour lack of sleep in a day, how is that going to impact you tomorrow? All right, so that's the most immediate thing that we want to see in your health. So if you have 1 hour lack of sleep, you are 28% increased risk of being insulin resistant the next day. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have higher insulin, your benchmark is already at a much lower place. All right, you're compromised, your sugar will be higher as well. You have reduced metabolic efficiency and flexibility throughout the day. So how you start your day is going to be bad already, okay, compared to those who have good sleep. All right, so your muscle building capacity will be affected 18%, that's a lot. Just by having 1 hour lack of sleep, you're compromising on your muscle building health, right? You compromise muscle synthesis and recovery. Okay, overall, especially if you work out, you are going to feel it when you have lack of sleep. And just by not having sufficient sleep for 1 hour, you're going to have a compromised impaired GLP-1 level. And that means you're going to be really hungry, hangry, and you will be eating throughout the day. There will be temptation for you to snack, and it's a lot harder for you to say no. Right? So this is the very clear snapshot. Immediately, right after that, you're going to feel this effect once you don't have enough sleep. So if you are sleep deprived, once we see those are short-term snapshots, okay, that we can see tomorrow. What if it's compounded? If it's consistently lack of sleep? So what are you putting yourself at risk? If you are sleep deprived, you are 30 to 40% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. You are 30% more likely to be overweight. You are 120 to 130 higher risk of getting more fat gain over time compared with adequate sleep. And you're 11 to 13% more likely to gain unhealthy belly and visceral fat. So you just look at all these metabolic indicators, you're already on the losing end just by not having enough sleep. Okay, we're not even talking about proper nutrition in the day, intermittent fasting or whatever, just by not having enough sleep. And come on, you're talking about 30 to 40% risk of having type 2 diabetes, okay, just by not having enough sleep. If you have sufficient sleep, what's going to happen? It works on reverse for you. You are saving yourself 30 to 40% reduction of type 2 diabetes risk simply by sleeping enough. Okay, we're not even talking about the number of hours, the quality, how well you sleep. You're already saving yourself from potential metabolic dysfunction in the future. Okay? And you're talking about 18 to 20% higher muscle protein synthesis by sleeping better. Reduce of 300 to 500 kilocalories a day by just having enough sleep. Because poor sleep is directly related to our appetite regulation. You're going to find yourself really hungry in the morning, craving for food, and especially high fat and refined sugary food. Last but not least, you are also saving yourself 30% risk of being overweight. Okay, and just by having enough sleep only, not even talking about the hard work that you have to do in the morning, you're already giving yourself a really good baseline to start with, and your journey towards health is going to be a lot easier. Now, there's a really interesting studies that I chanced upon, and I wanted to know what and how significant the effect of weight loss would be for somebody who is sleep sufficient and sleep deprived. So I found the right study. So these are two groups of people, right? Sleep sufficient and sleep deprived. They have the exact same protocol, the exact same routine, the exact same environment. The only difference between both of these target groups is their sleep duration. So for the sleep sufficient, they have a decrease of 60% fatness. Right, that's pretty significant. But of course, just like any other weight reduction program, there will be muscle mass loss as well. Okay, so these, of course, indicators, they don't have any supplementary support, just based on dietary weight reduction. Okay, so overall body composition change in weight loss program is typically like, okay, muscle mass will definitely decrease, hence muscle bulking, not bulking, but having additional protein is really important during weight loss. All right, so sleep deprived is startling. All right, we are talking about a negative 60% more muscle reduction than the sleep sufficient group, and worse still, they have negative 55% less fat loss compared to the sleep sufficient group when you are sleep deprived, right? Okay, and they are on the exact same protocol. Nothing changes. The only difference is just sleep deprivation. So, if you are not having enough sleep, right, whatever effort you do, let's not just talk about weight loss. Talk about normal dietary management or your natural sugar level, your blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever. Okay, it's all going to be widely decided by how well you sleep. Okay, so I think this is really like, whoa, I was immediately woken up to these statistics, and it really teaches us how important it is to have enough sleep. Okay, so new science is no longer about the hours. Although the hours still play a difference in the sense that people still use that to give a rough gauge, a rough estimation how many hours you sleep, right? So we can't say it's not used, but it's just not the gold standard anymore because it does not cover how well do you sleep. So now sleep experts are saying that we have to reframe the way we look at sleep. It cannot be quantified by hours any longer. In fact, it should be defined a very simple indicator. Is how you feel when you wake up. Do you feel energized? Do you feel well rested? Do you feel motivated the next day? Okay, and all the other good qualities that comes with it. all hinges on how well rested you wake up. So this should be the question that you are asking yourself. So how do we quantify quality, right? Because it's so subjective. Oh, so you know what are the few things that I need to have in my mind to know that I'm on the right track? Okay, so according to National Sleep Foundation, okay, there are a few things to look at. Number one is sleep latency. How long it takes for you to fall asleep. So bad news for all doom scrollers, okay? I'm talking about you and myself too, okay? So I have to obviously stop this habit because it is really going to affect sleep quality. Okay, we're going to go into that later on in detail. Next is the number of times you wake during the night. FYI, waking up to the toilet is actually not ideal. All right, try not to wake up too often, but sometimes we can't, so we try to manage that. And wake after sleep onset, the amount of time you're awake after first falling asleep. So by right, you should be able to sleep right after you wake up. Okay, so you go to the toilet, you should just sleep right away. But you shouldn't, like some people, they go to the toilet, they come back, oh, I'm awake already. 4 a.m., I'm awake, and they cannot sleep back. So that's not good now. All right, so we need to reduce this. And last but not least is what we call sleep efficiency. The ratio of time asleep versus lying in bed. So for most of you, I believe most of you would have a sleep wearable, right? Watch that can measure for you. So in there, they will always tell you a score. Okay, so there's generally this score that I know my one give me this score. So every time when I see I'm in the 80 over, I always get like 83, 82. So I keep thinking that I have good sleep, until I look at the score. Then I'm like, 85, from what I know, is like A grade already. But actually, by right, less than 85 is fail already, considered disrupted sleep. Okay, and to be very good, you have to be 95 and above. And if you're 75, you just fail straight, you're insomnia, right? So all this, if you go and check your phone or whatever, it will tell you roughly where you stand. And I think most of us, unsurprisingly, are in the disrupted sleep portion. So how is your sleep quality? All right, so these are just questions to ask if you want to know, okay, what is in your checklist? Do you fall asleep in 30 minutes or less? So guys, okay, so for those who play Shopee in the middle of the night one, okay, you know who I'm talking about. So please, okay, that is really going to affect your sleep quality. Okay, it should not be more than 30 minutes. Okay, did you wake up one time? All right, more than 2 times is for exception above a certain age, but by right, it should not be more than 1 time. Okay, total, were you awake for 20 minutes or less after falling asleep? And were you mostly asleep on bed or not? Or are you awake most of the time? Okay, so you can take a picture of this because this is going to really give you a good framework as to how do I evaluate my entire sleep quality. So conclusion is there is no longer a perfect number already. Okay, psychologists and sleep experts agree that sometimes when we set ideal 8 hours, it sabotages the person in the sense that they are more obsessed about achieving the hours. So they're like, oh, if I don't achieve 8 hours, anxiety. In fact, it makes things worse. So they're like, okay, let's not look at this and let's look into these 4 criteria instead. Now, okay, we don't need another sleep supplement because there are plenty in the market. All right, my fellow Singaporeans, you would know. Okay, working into Watsons, there are all kinds. Gummy, in jelly, in powder, okay, all kinds. But we need something that addresses every stage of sleep quality. All right, in shortly, you will know why I say that. Okay, so the problem is standard sleep aids, they aim to knock you out. All right, and this is how traditionally people would say that, oh, it's a good product. Because once I take, I just knock out. So by right, a good sleep aid is not supposed to sedate you to sleep when you know. Okay, so what you see here is a graph of the amount of melatonin that our body naturally produces. So it's 0.3 milligram. Okay, I didn't put the unit here, but it's 0.3 milligram. So retail melatonin is what? Okay, it's 10 milligram. And we're talking about a 0.3 to a 10, it's not like 3 to 10. So you can imagine how many more times is that, right? Okay, and I will give you the range. Most of the melatonin in the market is 5 milligram to 10. So I'm giving you the higher end. But if you were to calculate, it is still crazy amount. Okay, we're talking about 16 to 33 times more melatonin than what our body naturally produces. So no wonder you sleep straight, okay, like it gives you the sedative effect, but the next day, you're not going to feel that great. Why? Number one, high dose of synthetic melatonin knocks you out, leaving you feeling drowsy and hangover the next day. Okay, a good sleep aid is not supposed to make you feel that way at all. You should be feeling refreshed, feeling really good, and just positive overall, right? And of course, due to extremely high amounts of melatonin, which is abnormal for our body, it will lead to interruption. Ironically, it will interrupt certain key sleep cycle, which is the REM sleep, all right? And it will just cause your whole sleep cycle to be fragmented, okay? And you will end up having what we call metabolic hangover, okay? Due to high amounts of sleep, melatonin are going to stay, of course, it's 16 to 33 times more, right? And the effects you will notice would be leading to high cortisol level, all right? Because it sabotages your REM sleep, right? You have going to have insulin resistance, poor GLP-1 signaling the very next day. So yeah, it helps you to sleep, but you pay the price. Okay, in fact, it worsens your metabolic health. Okay, but then there is a need still for a sleep aid because we are living in a very stressful, high-paced environment, and I think sometimes due to hormonal changes as well, a sleep aid could really help us a lot in entering sleep smoothly. So this is what we call the sleep cycle, right? And this chart briefly describes how does the 90-minute sleep cycle look like. Okay, it typically starts with a light sleep. Okay, this is where you just going to sleep, all right? Okay, the entry point. Then after that is going to be the repair stage, which is all your muscle building and all that. Then REM sleep, your brain will reset itself. Then the wake cycle. All right, so let's go into it in detail. Now, the first stage is light sleep. Okay, so what happens exactly in our body in this stage is your insulin sensitivity will reset. All right, this is where your insulin levels will drop. Okay, your blood sugar will normalize. So that's why those people who, stay awake on the bed for too long, right, more than 30 minutes, right, it's going to compromise this a lot. All right, you are more highly likely to be insulin resistant the next day. Hence, that's why you need to be able to sleep. Actually, as soon as you lie on the bed, right, within 15 minutes, you should sleep already. You shouldn't be staying awake for that long because it's going to compromise your sugar and your insulin sensitivity. All right. So if this stage is disrupted, if you stay on bed worried, stressed, doom scrolling, going to online shopping too much, watch your favorite drama. So all these things will then interfere your entry into light sleep. Okay, you're going to have a hard time sleeping. The blue light and all that, okay, is going to cause you to have this kind of problem later on, okay, which is high sugar and insulin resistance. Okay, so next would be the deep sleep. Okay, so what exactly does deep sleep does? So deep sleep, this is where our body will start to repair. Okay, all your DNA repair system, all your tissue repair, your skin collagen repair, your joint, your muscle, everything will start here. Okay, so light sleep is typically the most, and deep sleep happens at the beginning part of the sleep cycle, which is about before 4 a.m. Okay, deep fat burning and your muscle building will happen here. Okay, so for example, if you have a lot of light sleep, okay, you don't have enough deep sleep, you won't be able to. Hence the study where you talk about just now, right? Those who are sleep deprived, okay, they're going to compromise a lot in this cycle, the deep sleep cycle. Okay, and that is the reason why that they're going to have a hard time burning excess fat. Okay, and because of growth hormone peaks and all that, hence the muscle protein synthesis. Okay, so after deep sleep, naturally, sometimes it will keep rotating. You go back to light sleep, then you go back to, if this stage is disrupted, okay, it interferes with muscle building and recovery. All right, so make sure that you have enough deep sleep to be able to give you good muscle recovery. Okay, so next is what we call the REM sleep. Okay, REM sleep is where we dream. Okay, the moments where you have very vivid dreams, when you have an argument with someone in the day, right? then you are like stressed, right? Then in the night, you will suddenly remember about that confrontation you had with that person. Wow, it will replay in your mind. All the dreams about cannot find toilet in the dream one, all happened during your REM sleep. Okay, so of course it's not to say bad, because REM sleep also have its purpose. Why? Okay, this is how our body cognitively arrange itself. Just now, deep sleep is more for our body, the muscle, the tissue. REM sleep is for the brain. Okay, how your body is able to release all the stress of the day, reorganize information. Okay, it all happens here, right? So the brain is highly active, it's moving. Your eye are also moving, that's why it's called rapid eye movement, right? And the brain is more awake, active than times that we are awake. Right? So our brain uses a lot of energy. Okay? And it regulates our hunger hormone and helps our body to lower stress hormone. So when you talk about the melatonin supplement, right, the standard type, okay, it really disrupts your REM sleep. So it will cut short this REM sleep, slash to maybe like 15 or 10%. So this, whatever that your body does here is going to be disrupted. All right. So if this stage is interrupted, you are going to have a lot of excess blood, okay, excess sugar in the blood, because your brain uses a lot of sugar, right? So if it's being cut short or interrupted, then you're going to have a lot of excess sugar laying in your bloodstream. So this will lead to higher sugar level the next day, right? And you're going to have major cravings because due to high sugar levels in your blood, and you'll be suddenly really hungry, like, why after I wake up, I feel so hungry, I feel like I can eat, like a whole plate of rice or something. And you want to, and especially the sweets and those things will come with a vengeance, especially when you don't have good REM sleep, right? And it sabotages your GLP-1 signaling. Okay, so this is where, the whole appetite cycle will be dysregulated, right? Okay, and of course, high morning cortisol. Next is going to be your wake cycle, all right? So one sleep cycle is about 90 minutes. It takes about that duration. So ideally is to go back into light sleep, and don't stay awake for too long. Okay, so after you wake up, you go light sleep, deep sleep, right? Okay, then it goes on and on and on until the moment you wake up. All right? So this is the reason why we cannot look at just the number of hours, okay? Because you can have 8 hours or 10 hours, but you can be stuck in this light sleep, okay? Or you can be stuck in this deep sleep, okay? And you'll be stuck here or whatever. Okay, so you need to have something, right, that is going to regulate every single cycle, because it does different things for our metabolic health, right? So melatonin, the standard melatonin supplement, right, it really interferes here a lot. And you will have a lot of light sleep, maybe 80%, but your REM sleep will be maybe just 10%. Okay, so that's not good, right? So that's the reason why the market, I believe, desperately needs something that is comprehensive enough to address the sleep cycle issue. All right, it's not going to fragment anything, but optimizes every single stage of the sleep cycle so that you wake up, not just only you feel awake, but your body will thank you for it. All right. Okay. So how does sleep essential then correlate to the whole theory that I spoke to you about? Okay, so when you talk about night sleep, right? You want to enter into night sleep. The problem why people cannot enter into night sleep, okay, let's not talk about doom scrolling, because basically that's just a habit. All right, but most people, they can't sleep is due to a lot of mental noise. They suddenly worry a lot, especially on bed, right? You will have a lot of worrisome thoughts, right? And you just cannot sleep. Hyperactive mind. So what you just need to calm it down a bit. Okay, you just need to increase the alpha wave in your brain so that you're able to just relax when you are on the bed. All right, so ashwagandha is great for that. These are very well-established ingredients that have been on the market for a long time, very well studied. Okay, so there are very good safety standards to them, and they are all pretty high quality. Okay, so with a combination of both, together it helps to lower the cortisol level in bed, so you just don't think so much. And then it also reduces the wake time on bed, so you don't wake up that much. Okay, it can help you to also reduce your waking at night. Okay, so after we finish the light sleep, then you're going to what we call the deep sleep, right? So the repair stage is really important because your muscle, okay, your fat burning all happen here. So when you have magnesium, right, that's why it's true, okay, when you have sleep problem, people give you magnesium. But if you only take magnesium, it's not enough because it only addresses deep sleep. Okay, you don't have anything to address your light sleep, Okay, so magnesium is really good. We have the optimal dose. Our dosage here is 315 milligrams, which is the optimal dose for muscle relaxant and for optimized deep sleep. Okay, so it's a really good dose and it's a natural muscle relaxant. You body repair, your muscle repair, your face, your skin and everything. Okay, so it's all taken care of by the high quality magnesium that we have in the deep sleep cycle. Right? So REM sleep, which is your rapid eye movement, this is where you need to have the correct dosage of melatonin. All right, and what is so different from us is that we don't use synthetic and we don't use like ridiculous amount. We use a very small amount that's close to our body, which is 0.5. Our body is 0.3. So just the right amount that can jive with the normal body, so your body don't get shocked, right? You don't sedate straight, okay, and don't disrupt your REM sleep. And we use natural from alfalfa and chlorella powder. So this is the wonderful thing, all right, that we derive from herbal tonic, okay, to give you another word for it. Okay, and unlike synthetic melatonin, they are bioidentical, low dose that matches your body's natural rhythm. So you will just REM sleep as you should without any forced reaction. Okay, last but not least, do you know that it's also important to regulate the time you wake up, because too many people wake up on times that they're not supposed to wake up. All right, whether you wake up 2 times a day, either you go to the toilet or whatever. Okay, so this is really important to fix it. So you sleep at the right time, you wake up at the right time. So vitamin D and zinc is really good for that. Okay, so it does some regulation to your circadian rhythm. You will know when to wake up and wind down to make every 90-minute cycle more efficient over time, so that you don't have that problem of like keep waking up and stuff like that. You wake up on times you're not supposed to. All right. So this is why Sleep Essential is really comprehensive. Okay. And if we were to merge this with what we have learned just now, it's amazing. It really makes sense. Okay. So not just only it helps you with your mind and how you regulate stress and all that, but you are also helping your body to stabilize glucose better, to also improve insulin sensitivity. Okay, and do you know if you have high sugar insulin level, it will make you toss and turn. And toss and turn is not good, If you always reposition yourself, you always sit here, then you sit there, flip. It's actually not a good one. By the way, you shouldn't be flipping so much, okay? Because that is going to disrupt your sleep as well, okay? So deep sleep, okay, if we have this covered with magnesium, is going to help emphasize and to make whatever benefit that stronghold has even better with the magnesium. Right, magnesium with stronghold and somehow prolong the fat burning with the GLP-1 and mini market, right? It's going to be superb. You're going to experience a much optimized, deep sleep and also fat burning effects. Okay. And of course, this is really important, the rapid eye movement when it comes to your GLP-1, your appetite level, your sugar level the next day as well. Okay, so if you have this, it helps to, regulate the GLP-1, your brain can use sugar better, manage the craving, so you are better at saying no, all right? So next, when you can wake up well, it reduces cortisol level, okay? If you wake up prematurely, it's going to increase your stress hormone. All right, so this is why it will also improve your insulin sensitivity. Okay, so I know this looks like a lot, but I think this is the best way for you to see everything in a slide. That whatever you take in Sleep Essentials is going to optimize everything you eat in a day. Okay, everything, all your feel great, your stronghold or what. Okay, but I can tell you, so don't because you sleep, then you'll be able to manage your sugar in the day. Okay, it's not going to manage your diabetes in the day, but still it's able to optimize whatever you do even better. Right? So I can tell you with confidence that this is really beyond the ordinary. Okay, I'm very proud to say that we have the science and really good sense to explain how it works. But on top of that, you have to also try that, right? So I've tried. And I only have to feel to try. So I'm done with everything already. I'm like, Why I have so limited amount on it? That's the only thing. Okay, because after you take this, right, it's just like, I'm like, what have I been missing out on, man? I don't know, because okay, I don't really have very good sleep, to be frank. Okay, and sometimes I don't even realize that my sleep is disrupted. But after taking this, right, I'm like, the next day, wake up already. I'm not even aware. Last time I'm always aware that I will toss and turn and all that, like totally nothing. And you just feel like so good, after you take this. All right. And I know there are some of you who actually try to buy from Korea this, right? All right. And you will feel the effects. Some of them have tried, they also reported the same thing, like sleep has never been so good. Okay, I don't know how to explain this to you. You have to try it for yourself. All right. And it's like you cannot imagine life without it already. So now I'm actually a bit deprived because I don't have this product anymore. Right. So it's just really, I've tried many different sleep aids, by the way. But this is really very different. Okay. And I highly recommend you, if you can, get a bottle and experience it for yourself. It could really transform your sleep. Like, really. Okay. Get one and try it for yourself. Okay. All right. So these are the conclusion of ingredients that's in this supplement. All right. And we use strategically herbs and minerals, combine it together. Hence, we can have such a wonderful synergistic effect to our metabolic health. Okay, so I'm not going to go very detailed into this. Basically, this is a summary about what we have spoke about. All right, about how standard sleep aids are missing the mark on all these things. Okay, but if you have Sleep Essential, it is a completely different product. Okay, because it's strategically planned. You can see the detail and the way they design this. Oh my gosh, it's every single sleep cycle. All right, it's also safe for long-term use. I've actually clarified this with the Korean team who produced this. They say it's safe. Okay, and it optimizes the body in the long term, where standard sleep aids may in fact harm the body. All right, because it's ridiculously high amount, right? And the best thing is that it boosts the metabolic effect in the day. It makes whatever you do work even better. All right. In fact, I think, like I explained before, okay, standard melatonin may sabotage whatever good that you do in the day. In fact, all right, make it worse. Might as well don't eat that. Okay. All right. So coming to the end of today, I hope it's not too much info, right? I mean, it's quite a lot to digest, but I think it's really important that you understand how every single sleep cycle is important to us. All right, and it's huge. It's a big thing. Okay, Dr. Benjamin Bigman has spoke about this. That sleep is huge when it comes to managing metabolic health. Okay, so the core product is we need both of these. Okay, because they are still our core and our most important product, because it regulates insulin resistance overall. All right, how we want to manage this in the day, the balance, how it manages the sugar crashes when we eat, the unimate, the GLP-1, okay. All these things are really very important that we have to regulate every day. But this is going to fill the gap of sleep issues and maximizes the effects of feel great, right? And this year, I think we are primed for a very exciting 2026, because in a short frame of time, we have already two exciting products, okay, that's really going to boost the way we were to look at metabolic health, okay, and it's going to fill a lot of gaps in the market. All right, so we have this, of course. Feel Great is to target insulin resistance, Stronghold for muscle health, and for many of you who are on it, you know that it works really differently and really great for muscle health. And last but not least, sleep, right? And with all of this, you're going to experience a very different kind of health this year. All right, so let's make 2026 a year of breakthrough for all of us in terms of our health, metabolically, emotionally, mentally, and with good sleep, it's really going to help us achieve that. Okay, so just to let you know, today's session is just a preview. Okay, we are not selling today. Okay, I just need to let you know, okay? Because some of you will be like, I thought we can buy today. Oh, no. Actually, today is more of a pre-introductory session. Okay, the actual day that you'll be able to find this product is actually on this day, okay, on the 25th. So we did this once before in January, it was a tremendous success. Okay, it exceeded our expectation. I can see that Singaporeans really take their health seriously. Wow, it was like, I don't know, man. And the first time it was like, I think 9:30, people already start to line up outside. Okay, and they want to come in and do their blood check already, the glucose check and all that. Wow, it was a long line and it was like a big crowd. Okay, so due to the really good response, and I think it's a great way to, help the community to be healthier, we are going to do a second one. All right, so on this day, we're going to have all this as well. Bring your friends. Anybody who have never been to any health event is free anyway. So come and do all this with us, okay, to know where you stand. And on this day itself, you will be able to get this SIP Essential. Okay, so I highly recommend for you to turn up for this event. I'm going to have another science talk as well, okay, but we're going to open this more for newcomers, all right, to launch this program. Okay, so I highly recommend you guys to come. If you want to get online also can, but best to come and secure your stock on that day. All right. Okay, so we are open to Q&A. Okay, what's the dosage? You want to know the breakdown, is it? Okay, so magnesium is 315 milligram. Okay, and that is the optimal dosage that's being studied actually when it comes to sleep benefits. With L-theanine is 200 milligram. Okay, that's also the optimal dose. Ashwagandha is 120 milligram. The natural melatonin is 0.5 milligram. The zinc is 8.5, and the vitamin D3 is 10 microgram. Okay, so these are all the dosage that's being studied and formulated and tested to be the most optimal when it comes to managing every single sleep cycle. All right. Okay, is the SIP Essential halal? I have to find out more information from you, but there is no animal product in this. There's no animal product. Even the gelatin use vegetarian sauce. So I'm not too sure if that answers your question, but I can ask the Korean team if they have any, if they can get back to me on that. All right. Can take cow milk at night once using SIP Essential? I guess you can if you want to. Yeah, because cow milk has calcium. The magnesium in the cow milk is not that high. Okay, it's just good enough amount to combine with the calcium that you're taking. So to increase calcium absorption, obviously. So I would say that you can still take it because you want the calcium which is not in this formula. Oh, okay. I mean, how do we take this? Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you want to know the ingredient. 2 a day. All right, take 2 before sleep, preferably 30 minutes to 1 hour. SIP Essential best to pair with chlorospina and Fierce? No, because SIP Essential is to take at night, and obviously Fierce is to take in the morning. So that doesn't quite. They want to sleep, they want to make you wake up, so it's conflict, right? Spirulina is pretty neutral, so I think spirulina just take in the morning. Yeah, with Fierce, I think that's fine. But SIP Essential, just take it as soon as you go to bed. Okay, big things for making the subject of sleep so exciting. If somebody is not already on field grade and wants to go to SIP Essential straight away, will they be able to experience all the benefits? Yeah, they will. But of course, when it comes to, okay, I want to clarify this thing, right? SIP Essential maybe target your sleep. Okay, if I'm talking about those who already have an issue to diabetes, for example, their body already is having a hard time managing sugar, all right, and they are having a high amount of fat percentage. Okay, no matter how many hours of sleep you get, you can't solve that problem. All right, so they have to still target their metabolic health first, because you can sleep for 10 hours. But you can still have very bad sugar level anyway, right? Because your baseline isn't that good and you don't do anything to manage what you eat in the day. Okay? So SIP is very important still, but it's still a supplementary product. Okay, that you take it on the side to just boost up everything that you take. But of course, if you talk about somebody who is not taking any sleep supplement at all, and to somebody who has, obviously they're going to see a difference, because the study have shown, right? Those who are sleep deprived have much worse outcomes compared to those who are sleep sufficient. Okay, so they are already reading some battles, although not everything, but it can help them also in terms of metabolic health to a certain degree. All right, so I hope I answered your question, right? Okay, so what is the calories that it will it break out fast? It won't break out fast, huh? Oh, I think very minimal only. This one, I think not even 10. Okay, because it's just, as for the ingredients, they are not really calorie inducing ones. Yeah, so it's not a problem. Okay, is there any restriction for a person to use age, health, condition, etc.? Okay, I don't really have any health condition on the top of my mind right now, okay, because this is generally quite general. Unless this person is already on some form of sedative medicine, okay, that their doctor prescribed to them, that, yeah, if they're on anything that doctor is given to them to manage their sleep, especially medicine, right, or certain anxiety-related medication, of course, this one is something that you have to not take together because it's gonna that one really knock you out, right? Because it's both also very strong. But of course, as any other specific health things, I'm pretty sure the doctor will let you know. Okay, that certain health with certain medicine you're taking may have any interaction. So best to still ask the doctor. But other than that, I don't really have any on the top of my mind right now. Okay. Age, of course, not for children, all right, this kind of thing, right? Better to be an adult age, like 18 years old, right? Because I think state aids shouldn't be given to people who are too young, okay? So let's say if I take state aid already at 9 p.m., still can take sleep essential after wake up at 3 a.m. Oh, so if you have wake up, okay, number one, you have to try first, all right? Because I also have waking up problem. After I take this, I don't wake up every day. Okay, so number one, you have to try first, all right? Unless you really, after you wake up, and then you cannot sleep, then only you consider to take one more tablet just to manage you to sleep better. But most of the time, people are already on this one, right? They don't wake up in the middle of the night. I mean, at least for me, and for some of the leaders who have really tried, right? They said they just sleep. Okay, so unless you really need to, then your sleep deprivation must be very bad already. That even sleep essentials cannot help, and you must take another capsule. But if it really happens, then it means you really need it, and I think go for one more additional if you need to. Sleep essential, is it usable with Oasis? I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. In fact, I think Oasis will work even better with sleep essential, right? Because Oasis helps with the skin, correct? Your repair. So once you have good sleep essential, you're going to optimize your deep sleep cycle. So whatever collagen or hyaluronic acid or whatever, it's going to work even better. Okay, so I would highly recommend you, okay, and we talk a lot about anti-aging, things like that. Sleep essential will definitely help, okay, because all your DNA repair is going to happen at that time, all right? So it's going to affect longevity and all that kind of thing as well. Okay, so yeah, I highly recommend it, okay? As is understood, the melatonin secretion reduces with age and bad sleep habits. How will sleep essentials take effect on this issue? Will the dosage be the same for people with these issues? Of course, when it comes to severity, it really is a case-to-case basis. I'm just talking about general public. Okay, like I said again, you have to try it for yourself. Okay, I can't give you a ballpark number because many people have different conditions. But I do believe the age is an issue as well. So just go with 2. You just try first. Okay, just try first and see how. Right? Unless until a certain degree, maybe certain hormonal issue changes with age, which happens, right? And at that time, we can have a follow-up conversation on that. Okay, but I can tell you, you can just take it. All right, any age, anybody just take it because it will help, definitely. All right, and if you feel that after some time you want to adjust your dosage a little bit, it's a conversation we can have again. But generally, I would say that 2 is pretty much because the dose is very optimal. 300 over is the clinical study, like magnesium, for example. It's the optimal dose that many research papers say that is good. Okay, and they studied on many different age groups also, ashwagandha, for example. Okay, so based on that, I'm quite confident that even at 65, you will also experience the benefit. But to what degree and how serious is your sleep deprivation? Of course, it's a case-to-case basis, right? So yeah, we can definitely follow up on this after you try this product, okay, and see how it works for you. Okay, I'm excited for you to try too. All right. Okay, thanks Claudia for sharing this. Okay, sleep is such a crucial component to overall well-being. How long should someone typically use it before evaluating whether it is working well for them? I think I think 1 month will be a good indication. I think if you can try for 1 month, you know, actually, to be frank, right? You just try this for 1 day. You already know that you can use this for the long term. All right. You use this consistent because you sleep is like that. Once you sleep well, right, you just know it. And once you have very good sleep, you cannot afford to, you just don't want to go back to having bad sleep anymore. Understand? Right? I mean, I can already sleep so well. What? How come the next day I don't want to sleep so well again? Right? So usually people want to continue it because it feels good to be able to sleep well. And I've also confirmed this with the scientists in Korea. I mean, the product team in Korea, they say this dose and all this is optimal for long-term use. Right? And there's no negative effect on that. So I guess we can follow through with their recommendation. All right? Thanks for asking. Okay, since essential is herbal tonic, actually it's herbal tonic. That's why I didn't put melatonin. I put natural melatonin. Okay, if I put herbal tonic, some people may not even understand what is herbal tonic. All right, so hence that's why we describe it in such a way, and we also disclose alfalfa and chlorella so that they know this natural melatonin comes from this source. All right, so we are very transparent about the herbs that we use. Okay, so yeah, I don't think there's anything to hide on that. Okay, we are transparent. So would you describe this more as a stress support sleep product, a sleep quality product, or a recovery product? Also, what kind of sleep issue is not designed to solve? I would say it covers three. It covers your stress support, sleep quality, and recovery as well. Okay, of course, depending on how serious the person has stress. Okay, if you're talking about a person who has a baseline of anxiety, for example, or already have a baseline of depression tendencies, then this one is not going to be enough to calm them down. All right, because this is designed more for general public, and we're talking about just normal day-to-day that you can manage stress on. Those who are on a different level, you know it. Okay, they are already in a different category lah. So those people, we wouldn't give them this to manage, okay, because they would need other type of medical support maybe. All right, but we're talking about just the day-to-day work-related stress, anxiety and all that. For a person is quite all right because the ashwagandha is pretty there as well. Okay, the 120 milligram, and together with all the other like L-theanine that we have, okay, that also helps that. But sleep quality and recovery definitely lah. Magnesium. Yeah, so what kind of sleep issue is not designed to solve? Let's face this person has chronic, really, really serious insomnia. Some people have very bad. That is just another level. Okay, this one you have to talk to your doctor lah. All right, I'm not a sleep expert, but some people, yeah, they may be in that category. All right, so they will have to speak to their medical professional. All right, so is this best taken only right before sleep, or is there an ideal window before bedtime for better effect? I would say 1 hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah, some people within 30 minutes straight away you feel it already. Some people may take longer, like 1 hour. So I would say any between that is quite ideal. Okay, should we stop taking the D3K2 and magnesium if taking sleep essential? You can actually stop taking magnesium. Okay, but the K2, D3K, vitamin K is not in this formula. So really depending on what reason do you need it. The vitamin D in here is not to say a lot also lah. Okay, but I have to get back to you on that because 10 mcg is actually not a lot. If you're looking about really supporting your immunity, right, you need more than that lah. So if you're already on a, if you're already on a current vitamin D, you can just take this because this one is just more to support sleep. But in terms of magnesium, actually, you don't really need. Okay? Okay, I have a question. If someone is on a 90 days feel great program, how would it help them in their progress? I understand the indication, but would it help with better fat utilization? Visceral fat reduction? Okay, yeah, I think this is the question. But I have to read again because it's a lot in one question, right? Okay, so how would it Definitely, it will help significantly in a 90-day program. Okay, as we have talked about at length, how different stages of sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, okay, it has direct consequences to how our body would utilize, will recover on that day itself. All right, and based on the study that we talked about just now, is it's quite startling, right? Just because you are sleep deprived, you lose 60% more muscle mass compared to a sleep sufficient group, and you lose 55% more less fat compared to those who are sleep sufficient. That speaks a lot, just by having enough sleep. Because having enough sleep, especially in the deep sleep, okay, deep sleep section is where your body goes into deep fat burning. All right, so if the deep sleep is not too good, oh, you're going to have a hard time. That's the main reason why as well, that people have a hard time, because the deep sleep is not good enough. Or the REM sleep is interrupted, so they're going to have high sugar the next day. It's going to disrupt their GLP-1 signaling in the REM side, so they're going to be very hungry, very prone to make snacking and all that, so it's going to compromise whatever weight loss, protocol they're on. Okay, so having this is definitely going to help with better fat utilization. Of course, you burn fat better. Yeah, it will help with your visceral fat as well. Okay, and once you have this, it's going to really boost and optimize every single indicator you're looking at, including muscle building, all right, better insulin sensitivity. Okay, so with a 90 days program that that's currently ongoing, is going to be very beneficial for everybody. Okay, thanks for mentioning about depression issues. So if a person is on medication for depression issues, can they still take sleep essentials? Because medication is more to calm their anxiety, depression symptom, but may not necessarily give them good sleep, right? This one you need to ask the doctor lah. Okay, because you don't have any clash. And sometimes all this anxiety and depressive medication, they will have some sedative effect. Yeah, they have sedative effect. So there's one of the side effect. And it's supposed that's to make them calm, like Xanax, for example, right? Slow down the heart rate. So they still have to ask their psychiatrist to just be sure that it's not going to be too strong for them. Okay, so for those who are in this special category, I wouldn't recommend them lah, unless it's under the supervision of a doctor. Okay, right. So we had a really good, I love all of your questions. Seems like all of you are very interested to sleep better. And I can say this is for sure. Okay, once you try it, then you know what I'm talking about. All right, so thank you, everybody. Okay, REM sleep. Okay, I'll talk about this. So we have a question, REM sleep. What is REM again? I missed that. Okay, so we see this a lot in sleep cycles. You'll be like, because it looks so scientific, so you don't know what that is. REM basically rapid eye movement sleep, where your eye will be moving a lot. That's why it's called that. And at that time, it's very crucial that our cognitive brain is doing its processing. So deep sleep is where our body, our muscles, our tissue, our DNA is doing repair work. So REM sleep is where our brain does the repair work. When you're talking about reducing dementia risk, for example, reducing Alzheimer's risk, okay, all has to do with really good REM sleep. Okay, because REM sleep is where your body detoxifies, okay, and it helps to flush out excess cortisol during that time as well, that whatever that you are processing in your brain. Some people, when they have really good sleep, they can think better, they're clearer, right? And some people, even in their sleep, they can solve problems. I'm sure you have heard that before. Okay, so that's because of the REM sleep, that's where your brain, your cognitive, does a lot of repair work at that time. So your brain is a very highly active organ, okay, it uses a lot of energy. So it's very active. It's even more active than us now. I'm talking to you awake, right? Seems like I'm using a lot of energy, but not. Compared to that time when your brain is recovering, it uses a lot of energy. Okay, so that's where you want to really optimize it, because, of course, you want your brain to be healthy, right? If you have good sleep, your brain is going to be clearer. And of course, it's going to also have direct relation with your sugar level, right? Because the brain uses a lot of sugar. So if you don't have good REM sleep, there's going to be a lot of sugar in your bloodstream, right? And also cortisol level is going to be really high if you don't dispose of your stress during your sleep. Okay, so our dreams play a role, right? Our dreams help us to express the stress that we have in the day. All right, so REM sleep is something that we want to keep it at 25%, depending on the day, right? So it's good to not have too much or too little, right? So other synthetic melatonin will shorten this REM sleep, which is bad. So this one, it helps to regulate to a certain fixed percentage there. Okay, so I hope I was able to explain, not going too much into detail. All right, but generally REM sleep is where our brain rests, does its recovery work before we are ready to wake up. Okay. Oh, okay. So our moderator has reminded us that due to time limit, the chat room is now closed. All right. So please feel free to drop any further questions to our friendly customer service team, or you can reach out to me on email. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time and attention today. And please look forward to 25th and make sure you get your sleep essential. Okay. You just have to try it now. Okay. I'm not going to tell you. I can't explain also. All right. The effects after you try, you know there's no turning back. Okay, so thank you everybody so much for your time today, and we wish you to have a good sleep, right? Okay, so see you all on the 25th, and yeah, we're going to have a good event at that time. All right, good night, bye.